From the land of lakes, we are 10,000 takes. Thanks so much for tuning us in. He's Wally, I'm Eric. We're back for yet another week, and there is plenty to chop up in the always busy Minnesota sports scene.
Yes.
And I suppose we have to start with your Minnesota Vikings, who wrap up the preseason Friday night in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. Will we see any starters for the Titans or the Vikings in that game? Is that a promise?
Certainly no
None?
Vikings. Certainly no Vikings. Ooh, I mean, why? They barely played at all, or did they play at all in the second
You
game?
wouldn't want to get these young guys any extra reps, would you?
No, you can't get too much practice in. We wouldn't want that.
No, and you wouldn't want to do it against a team wearing another colored jersey or a different helmet. So it'll be all eyes on the Chicago Bears Monday night, September 8th. What an exercise in futility this final week of counterfeit football is in the National Football League, unless you're playing for a roster spot, which that excludes most of us.
Yeah, so there's like 30 guys on each team that this is important to. And for the rest of the United States of America, except, I guess, for the bookies, it doesn't matter.
No, people are going to put down money on these games, no doubt about it. Tennessee favored by 3 on Friday night in Music City, and somebody's going to win big and somebody's going to lose big. That's a given. Yeah, I think, you're passionate NFL fan. They're foaming at their mouth. They're waiting for week 1, which, of course, will kick off on a Thursday, and then we have Friday, and then we get into the weekend.
Okay.
And that's in a couple weeks.
Right. We have a week off before we
get through the Labor Day holiday.
Yeah. Well, that's soon going to end. When they go to 18 games, the NFL will be taking over Labor Day as well. I think that there is concern. We talked about this last week with that second-string quarterback position. I just think that they're not thrilled with Sam Howell. I don't think that Kevin O'Connell has kind of kept things under wraps up at this point. But they can't be happy with what they saw. And rumor has it that they weren't too thrilled with what he's been doing in practice during training camp. So this was just kind of the icing on the cake is, all right, let's see what he can do in this last preseason game. But we better have a backup plan, because you don't have a backup plan. That means you don't have a backup if something happens to J.J. McCarthy, or, dare I say it, things don't go the way you want with J.J. McCarthy right off the bat.
Yeah, and look, they had a lot of time to solve this puzzle. I mean, there were so many guys on the open market.
Tons.
Going back to when the NFL New Year started in March and free agency began. And you started to see the movement. Why isn't Daniel Jones still on this team? I mean, he would have been a better QB2, in my opinion,
than
Sam Howell. Aaron Rodgers certainly was in play. Russell Wilson has a new home. He's with, somebody else this year.
Case Keenum.
Yeah, Case Keenum.
They'll see him on opening night.
They will. I think he's QB 2 or 3 in Chicago.
He'll be holding the clipboard.
He's going to be probably telling Caleb Williams what defense Brian Flores is running with that Minnesota mayhem. But this could really backfire on the Vikings. Now, if J.J. McCarthy can stay on the field and make the kind of progress they need, then it's a moot point. But I really feel like in today's NFL, you have to have somebody who can come off that bench, because quarterbacks do go down and they do go into slumps.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even Kirk Cousins, who was basically an Iron Man for the Vikings. I mean, he didn't miss until he got hurt at the end and didn't play those last, handful of games. Kirk Cousins was a guy that when he did go down, the Vikings didn't know what, they went out and got the Pastronaut, and he was good for a couple of games. And I mean, they were looking all over the place for somebody to spark the offense and run the offense.
Joshua Dobbs, the Pastronaut, actually looked pretty good for New England.
He actually did. There's another guy.
Preseason game 2 against Minnesota.
Just saying.
Here's what I think the Vikings are hoping happens.
Okay.
You'll get cut down days coming up. All these teams got to pare it down to 53, and then they'll have a practice squad. Who's going to be on the open market? Is there anybody that you think is better than your current QB2, Sam Howell? If KOC and the staff think there is, I'm sure they're going to make a play for him. If they don't, and they determine that they need an upgrade at QB2, they may have to make a trade.
Right.
That's the last resort. You don't want to have to give something up for somebody you may have been able to get I don't want to say for free you got to pay these guys, but you wouldn't have to give up a player to get him in the offseason. So we'll see.
All right, we are going to talk some more football coming up in a moment. Sean Lumpkin, the former Gopher great, is going to talk some Gopher football. That's coming up next.
All right, we're 10K Takes, your purple ticket.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them?
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
10,000 Takes continues along, and we are going to talk some football, or more football, as the case may be. Your Gophers starting up next Thursday, so the next Thursday we have will be Gopher football.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, and a guy who played for the Gophers, and played very well, I might add, went on to the NFL, played several seasons for the Saints in the National Football League, Sean Lumpkin, a Golden Valley guy, as we discussed before we started the interview. Sean, give me your perspective on what PJ Fleck has been able to do in his tenure here as head coach of the University of Minnesota, and what you think, where you think they can go with what they have right now. Are they good enough to be a top 5 team in the Big Ten, or do you think that we're still a ways away from that?
I think the sky's the limit for him because of his attitude over the last 10 years. The thing with PJ Fleck is he has a culture. He's created a culture, and he has players, and he recruits players to buy in to his culture. And he has his staff 110% behind him, and it's all about the culture and the mindset. And then he puts all the pieces together. He works with what he has, and he's created a great product on the field and developed a lot of great men. I think he does a lot of really good recruiting for some of the linemen, because that's where it all starts up front. And, the results you see, he's put a lot of guys in the next, up to the next level, and they compete. So as far as being a top 5 team, I'm not so sure as far as right now, a top 5 team, but definitely he has the ability to get up there. Because, a few years back when they put a job on Auburn, they were kind of doubting, but he knows what to coach, and he has that mindset and that culture, and they're buying into it. The guys that don't buy into it, they're not here anymore.
Yeah, good point.
Sean, you were an outstanding safety, late 80s, early 90s. As Wally said, you went on to the NFL with New Orleans. In Gopher history, off the top, I'm thinking about, legendary safeties. Tyrone Carter would be one. He's a Super Bowl champion. Tyler Nubin, who just left, he's on to the NFL. You're in that group. But this kid, Coy Parrish, he's kind of a super freak, isn't he? Tell us about Coy Parrish.
Oh man, he does it all. Being from Minnesota here, he does it all. They give him the opportunities. When I watched him play, he's just a natural athlete, and you put him in a position to make plays. And that's one thing I look back. When I watched him play, I had just some ideas of when I came in as a freshman, how Coach Gudikins, he gave me the opportunities. He put me in a position to shine and really showcase some of my abilities, put me out at punt return, put me down for kickoff return, the special teams, being able to get the ball in my hands, and then put me in great positions on defense for at safety and move me around a bit. And this Parrish, he's an athlete. and he can go and make plays. And that's what it's all about. Hustle, be around the ball every single play, and make plays. Be a playmaker, make plays. And he does it naturally.
As a guy who played college sports 30 some years ago, when you look at the college landscape now, whether it's the transfer portal, NIL, or now just literally direct payments from the University of Minnesota to come and play football or basketball or hockey or whatever the case may be, what are your thoughts? And do you have thoughts like, man, I wish I could have got paid back in the early 90s and late 80s?
Wow, it's definitely a different world, a different game. I mean, I think there's pros and cons behind it. I'm all about, you have an opportunity, you get your opportunity somewhere, and you make the best of it. And hey, we're in the entertainment business, so you go out even though we're not at the professional level. The way it is definitely now versus when I played, the money involved, the TV contracts, the coaches' salaries, etc. It's nice that, yeah, you got to share the wealth. And so this time period, I'm all happy for them.
To your point, Sean, because it has been the wild, wild west with the NIL, the transfer portal, and everybody's trying to navigate it, and hopefully we get some guardrails. Do we need eventually, if you're going to pay these kids, and I'm okay with it, but how about minimum 2-year contract so you can't go right into the portal right away? And then after 2 years, maybe the school doesn't want you back like in the NFL, or you renegotiate and you stay for 4 or 5. Do you think we're going down that road?
I think it still has to be evaluated pretty well because, again, it's on both sides. There's a lot of NIL contracts that are very shady. So the players, people on the outside are looking in, but players and some of these athletes, some of them are getting raw deals on these NIL deals. They're not realizing they're signing some deal, and that deal that they're signing is like for forever, and they don't realize that. And so it has to be evaluated on both sides. I don't believe in on it doing any limitations on anything. If you're a good player, you should be paid well, and I look at it as, I'm only saying that because it's the same way with the coaches and their contracts. They have a contract. They have these guarantees, but if something better comes along, they either get bought out or they move on, and nobody blinks an eye. So I don't think they should do that and put limitations on players for doing the same things to offer their services, because they don't do limitations on coaches. So, but protections, I think, should definitely be in. My daughter, she played basketball her freshman year at LMU, and it was just an experience where she had some people coming at her from different angles and offering very little, a little contract, etc. But you're reading the different information, and they wanted her to sign for infinity, and it made no sense. And so they definitely need to have protections put in place, but I don't think the limitation thing in 2-year or 1-year minimums, etc. So they don't do that for coaches. So
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of that.
Sean, quickly, last question for you. You played in the defensive backfield in the National Football League. What do you see, or what is J.J. McCarthy going to be facing as a rookie quarterback who really is taking snaps, obviously, in the preseason, but hasn't seen the bullets flying in the NFL yet? What do you see for him?
It's a process, but I mean, he has a strong background. The coaches put him in a great position to be able to transition to the next level. Being at Michigan and the speed of play with these athletes, it's somewhat of a little different game. It's really styled around the professional game now more so than back when I played back in the late 80s and early 90s. I think these players are prepared much better, more so for the professional game at that next level. So, and he's really smart, and I think he'll do great. I just have to back up just a touch here. Someone's trying to get out.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, Sean, that's a perfect cue to say goodbye. Thanks for your time. You can roll off into the sunset, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks, and go
See you,
Gophers.
Sean.
All right. He is
All
Sean
right.
Lumpkin,
Take care.
former Golden Gopher great, of course, played some time in the NFL. Back with more here on 10,000 Takes after this time out. Stay with us.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them?
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
I've been meaning to give you these for many years. I think they're perfect.
Maya?
Oh, I love your earring. Why didn't you try these?
It isn't just about vision, it's about care. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
We are Minnesota Scores 10,000 Takes, and we're going to talk a little wrestling right now. A couple of guys that are going to be part of a big card over at the Armory in Minneapolis, which for the first time will be hosting this event. It is the TNA World Championships and the World Tag Team Champions. The reigning champions are joining us right now, and they are Matt and Jeff Hardy, who, oh, by the way, you see them with the Twins jerseys on. They had the honor of throwing out the first pitch of the Twins game. There's their that belt, and there's the other belt. I suppose you have to have two belts since there's two of you for that tag team championship. You threw the first pitch out at the Twins game on Tuesday night. Give me an idea of what this thing's going to look like at the Armory September 4th and 5th.
It's going to be incredible. TNA right now is in this massive resurgence, drawing amazing houses, setting records right and left. We just set our North American attendance record back in July. A lot of good things are going on, though. But we're coming here. We're doing a live episode of our flagship show, TNA Impact. That's going to be going down on September the 4th, that Thursday. And then we're also going to be recording episodes of Impact for the future on that Friday, on the 5th of September.
Yeah, and live shows are always super exciting. If you make a mistake, it's going to be seen.
And they're also exciting because they're very unpredictable. We have a great relationship with the WWE right now, so you never know if an NXT or WWE superstar is going to show up, especially on live TV. They're very unpredictable.
Yeah. So you guys have been doing this for decades. You've been incredibly successful. Do you consider yourselves more athletes or entertainers, or is it a hybrid? How do you define yourself?
Well, I started out as an athlete, no doubt. I feel like as time has gone on, I've leaned a little heavier onto the entertainment aspect of it. But, we're a little bit of both rolled into one for sure. We're living, breathing stuntmen who go out and perform and do our work live.
Yeah, and the big picture of my career and my existence in my life as a pro wrestler, I think I'm pretty much just a stunt man. I think that's what I am.
So are you guys good guys or bad guys? Or does that change?
I've done personally a little bit of both. My brother has been a good guy the majority of his career. Right now, we're almost like these living legends, these icons, and it's so weird that people call us that. But we've been doing this for 33 years. October 15th, we'll start our 34th year of doing this. We're pretty beloved now, and it's pretty amazing. We'll do these shows, and it'll be just like this when we're here in Minneapolis. We'll do our show that night, and then following the live episode of Impact, we'll do a meet and greet, and we'll be at the building till probably 1:30 or 2 a.m. in the morning signing autographs.
Wow.
And I'm sure you know this, but Minnesota has a pedigree of wrestling. Mm-hmm. There's a Hall of Fame in suburban Robbinsdale. Are you aware of the history here? And how much interest there's been for really decades.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, when I hear Minneapolis and Minnesota, I think of AWA almost first, and Minnesota too is also known for its great production of amateur wrestlers as well. I know Brock Lesnar, a guy who was a big WWE star, came out of here, but
Right.
it really is. It's a wrestling hotbed, and this is TNA's first trip here, so we're really excited to knock it out of the park on this first trip.
How, Jeff, does TNA different than WWE or WCW? What's the difference?
I would say in a way, it's like more abstract kind of. It's just it's a different vibe overall. The young talent. There's this guy by the name of Leon Slater, and he is incredible. The most amazing high flyer I've ever witnessed in all my years of wrestling. But it's just a very cool show and a very different vibe compared to WWE or AEW. And you'll see that, and you'll notice that when you come to it. And even the way we use like slow motion in our episodes is just super different.
Also, TNA is a place that doesn't micromanage everyone anywhere near as much as like WWE or an AEW does. So you get to see a lot of the guys go out and make their own music, paint their own canvas. They go out and tell their own story and they do their own thing. So I think that's something that's very special about TNA because the guys have a lot more input into what they want to do.
If I bring up the name Jesse Ventura, what is your reaction?
I love Jesse Ventura. We had a conversation with him a couple years back at the Fanboy Expo, and what a great dude he was. And he knew our stuff. He was aware of who we were. And we said, man, I would have loved if you would have been able to call some of our matches because he's one of the GOATs when it comes to color commentary.
For sure.
I'll throw another name at you, Vern Gagne, another huge name in wrestling that from Robbinsdale, and I'm from Robbinsdale, so this goes deep. But there are the list, and I went to high school with a lot of these guys. Not Vern. Vern's a little older than me. But my point is that these guys, as Eric pointed out earlier, they were trailblazers in this sport.
Yes. When I hear Vern Gagne, I just think about the AWA, and the AWA was so influential and it inspired so many people to get into wrestling. It was such a big deal up here, and it was a beautiful territory. And it's one of those things. Eventually WWE and Vince McMahon, he wanted to make his promotion global, so he ended up buying all these different things, and he took the stars from AWA and whatnot. But the days of the territories were great. We hear amazing stories, and I wish we could have participated in those days more.
Yeah, and a few years ago, I saw a WWE match at Target Center. It was very close to the ring. John Cena was involved. I noticed the give on the floor. And look, you guys got to stay safe. There's still a huge risk factor. How padded is that floor? And does it still hurt when you get body slammed?
Oh, it all still hurts. Chops are as real as you can get. But yeah, I mean, there's a little give, but it's so easy to get hurt and to get hurt bad. You got to land just right, and you got to know what you're doing.
I'll tell you how much is padded. It's not padded enough. I can tell you that. It is a small, thin little pad, but once we got there, everything is calculated risk. I mean, you work with different people. It's very physical. It's very aggressive. I know being in the ring with Brock Lesnar many times, I never wanted to make him mad because I knew he could murder me if he wanted to. But you work with one another, and it is very athletic, and at the same time, you're entertaining the people and taking them on a story, taking them on a ride.
What makes you guys such a good tag team? And then I'm going to piggyback that question with, have you ever been hit with a chair, or do you ever hit anybody with the chair? Or is that passe these days?
Oh, yeah. The chair hitting has slowed down quite a bit since back in the early 2000s, man. It was crazy back then. Shots to the head all the time. But us being brothers is definitely what's made us be such an important team in tag team wrestling. And the objects of ladders, tables, and chairs have really changed our careers because all we knew before we started with the WWE was this match between Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, and it was a ladder match. But we took the ladder match to a whole different level, and we're so proud that we kind of created the TLC match.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think too, as a tag team, I think as us just being brothers, we've been together our entire lives, having that special bond, and we're extremely passionate and about this thing is what we want to do our entire life. So once we're able to do that and find success, we've won 15 World Tag Team titles. We've held it in multiple different promotions in WWE and WCW. here at TNA 4 times now. And I wish AEW's been around. There's a character I did a while back called Broken Matt Hardy. We might have to do a bit where Broken Matt and Brother Nero teleport back to the past and somehow pick up and win the AEW World Tag Team titles. Add those to our list, too.
There we go. That's the entertainment part we're hoping for.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, we appreciate it. Matt and Jeff Hardy, the tag team world champions, with us here on 10,000 Takes. Can't make this stuff up. Check them out at the Armory later on in early September. Back with more. That's right. Takes of the day coming up next.
Seeing clearly matters. Being seen matters more. Nobody cares for eyes more than Pearl.
Hey, get your sports fix. By tuning in to 10K Takes, we cover all the Minnesota teams.
Vikings, Twins, Wild, Gophers, you name it. Fox 9 Plus and the Fox Local app.
Life moves pretty fast, but not at Freddy's. When that first bite hits, you can't help but slow down. The secret to quality time is just quality and time. That's Freddy's.
Mom, what's wrong with them?
That's called quality time. Don't stare.
Stop by any one of Freddy's 6 Minnesota locations.
10K Takes on television as we wrap up yet another episode. Big shout out to the viewers in the Twin Ports and, of course, right here in the Twin Cities, up and down that I-35 corridor.
Yes.
They're going to find out if you're all worked up this week. Maybe you're in a good mood. What is it?
Well, it's State Fair time, right? Mm-hmm. Minnesota State Fair. And as you know, I'm going to kind of put two things together here. Your Twins making all those deadline deal trades. So they had to bring a bunch of guys up from St. Paul to the Minnesota Twins across the Twin Cities. And that meant that they had to bring a bunch of AA guys up from Wichita to St. Paul. So I don't know, maybe they think they can't attract the top fans now these days because their AAA team is now playing in Minneapolis and their AA team is now playing in St. Paul. So the Saints have come up with a brand new idea. They're going to put a Ferris wheel in the outfield, well, just beyond the outfield fence, and they want $16 million of your money to do it. Yes, indeed. So they're going to turn the CHS Field into an amusement park, and I think that's appropriate. Maybe they can add a merry-go-round because, as you know, it seems like it's always the same. Round and round we go, and it just ends up where we always are. No playoffs, no postseason, no World Series, or maybe the roller coaster, the ups and downs of the Minnesota Twins. And, of course, now the Ferris wheel. And it just keeps going round and round and round. The same old, same old. So, yeah, put that Ferris wheel in the outfield. At least you have another reason to go to watch Minnesota baseball of some kind.
Yeah, we need a St. Paul eye. All right, let's see what. There it is, sarcastic Sam.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, they want all that money for a Ferris wheel. How about spending it on a pitcher?
Good idea.
Well, my take of the day, I'm going to come to the defense of Blaze Sheik and Louis Kahn, the two male cheerleaders for the Minnesota Vikings. And first and foremost, the Vikings are the 12th team in the NFL to have male cheerleaders. So they're not even trailblazers. And what's the big deal? Why are some people all bent out of shape because two of the cheerleaders are guys? This is a nothing burger. This has no impact on my life. I wish them well. I hope they blend in with the rest of the cheerleading team. Why are people so upset about this? Why are they so myopic? And look, if you're a season ticket holder who says, I'm canceling my tickets because of this, good riddance. Why would the Vikings want you in their facility anyways? Go under the rock you crawled out of. Come on, people. There's a lot more stuff to worry about.
Yeah, that's for sure. You're going to quit on your team because of the cheerleaders?
My goodness.
Holy smokes.
All right, well, we're going to quit because we have to go. Thanks to everybody for tuning us in. We are 10K Takes, your sports ticket.